I don't think anyone could ever argue the statement that Mario is the most iconic computer game character of all time, and his games have included some of the greatest and most successful video games ever made. But with so many classics out there, which ones really top the table? Hello there, welcome to saberduelgaming, where we always take the high ground, and welcome to my Mount Rushmore of Super Mario games. Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64 was a game changer in more ways than one. It was one of the first true 3D games that really created an open and explorable world that was also easy and fun to play. Lots of other games had tried to go 3D in the past, but the controls just didn't quite work out, or the graphics didn't quite live up to the expectations of the designers. Super Mario 64 did everything it was aiming to do in spades. The game brought Mario into the 3D realm for the first time, at least to this level and scope. The game managed to take all of the elements that people had fallen in love with in a two-dimensional platform game and brought them into a 3D world that managed to be comfortable and familiar, yet at the same time completely original, new and creative. Whilst to some the graphics may have aged a little since then, I think it's fair to say that it would be difficult not to appreciate just how impressive they are. For fantastic sound, gameplay and graphics, it makes my Mount Rushmore. If this was a Mount Rushmore of video games, Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System would have to be on it, so it goes without saying it's going to make this as well. Super Mario Bros. Absolutely saved Nintendo and gaming as we know it. Without the success and popularity of this game, who knows where the gaming landscape would be today, if it had ever really reached the popularity it had at all. In the same way that Super Mario 64 was a game changer, this was actually what set the rules of the game. Platform games are one of the most commonplace style of game in the entire industry, and Super Mario Bros. Established things that we now take for granted. Power-ups, level-ups, everything that we see in most games out there today was truly popularised by Super Mario Bros., and it certainly deserves its place on any Mount Rushmore. Skipping ahead, but only slightly, the next one on my list is Super Mario Bros. 3, also for the Nintendo Entertainment System. While some people have love for Super Mario Bros. 2, despite it not really being a Mario game, Super Mario Bros. 3 is the true sequel to the original Super Mario Bros. In my opinion. This game took everything that people loved about Super Mario Bros. And made it 10 times better. But not only that, as all really great sequels should, it added all kinds of new things into the franchise, many of those things that have continued to be a part of Super Mario Bros. Games and lots of other games to boot ever since. The in-between level map screens that would be seen across the Super Mario Land games, Super Mario World and New Super Mario Bros. That originated here in this very game. Whilst in some ways the graphics have aged a little bit worse than the original Super Mario Bros. Game, you can see that it was really pushing that 8-bit console to its limits, and even now the gameplay of this game, and especially the soundtrack, are something exceptional. Super Mario Bros. 3 took Mario to the next level, and it deserves its place on my Mount Rushmore. Okay, this is going to get me a lot of hate. With so many great Mario games out there, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Land, Super Mario Sunshine, etc, etc, etc. How can I pick a game that is basically, well, an updated version of games I've already put on here? Super Mario The Lost Levels was exceptional. Yes, it was basically the original Super Mario Bros. Trilogy along with the Lost Levels, but with enhanced graphics. But hear me out. First of all, the games it took and stuck onto one package were amongst the greatest games that had ever been made. And whilst they don't change the gameplay, and I've got to say by the way, that's a good thing. There was nothing in those games that needed to be changed gameplay wise. But whilst it doesn't change that gameplay, to say that all they did was spruce up the graphics a little bit really understates what this game did. The graphics in this game are peak Mario. While Super Mario World was that Mario game designed exclusively for the SNES that, in many people's eyes, was one of the greatest Mario adventures of all time, the graphics, audio, and everything that was updated in this game was truly a work of art. And it took those graphics and improved sounds to gameplay that was already perfection. For Western audiences, the Lost Levels was something that had probably never been played, and for Japanese audiences, the Western version of Super Mario Bros. 2 was likewise one they'd probably never got their hands on. And for these 4 games to all exist on one cartridge, that was something spectacular. Anyone who bought a SNES and got this amazing game was guaranteed a great deal of fun. And for that reason, it guarantees its place on my Mount Rushmore. Mario has given us a huge number of incredible games. To have as many games as he does with so few misses is near impossible. Everyone's going to have games that they didn't take to quite as much as others, and games that they consider to be the greatest of all time. Hell, your Mount Rushmore could be completely different to mine, but that's what makes this so much fun. So comment below, what's your favourite Mario game of all time? And until next time, take the high ground.